Welcome back. We are about to start the Meat Goat Show. So let's get ready for that.
All right, welcome back to our meat goat portion of our goat show. All right, so this is class one, our lightweight market goats. So this is our only class in this division, and these goats weigh 50 to 58 pounds. So these are the lightest that they can weigh, up through 58 pounds. So for our champion lightweight meat goat and reserve champion lightweight meat goat, both banners are sponsored by Becky Hoover of Auburn Alterations. So we greatly appreciate your sponsorship. So on the meat goat side of things, we're going to be looking at a little bit different structure, a little bit different size and frame than we were with our dairy goats that we saw earlier this evening. Meat goats tend to be quite a bit thicker in their legs, in their body size, in their frame. They tend to fill out maybe a little bit better, have what look like, I can see a little bit thicker back end, a little bit thicker what we'd call hams on a pig. So we're looking at just a little bit overall thicker bodies than what we saw on our dairy goats. So again, we're going to see the kids show them just a little bit differently. You'll see them maybe kind of pick up their front end, stretch them out a little bit more to kind of help exhibit that loin and that muscling quite a bit more than what we saw in the dairy goat side of things. So you will see the kids exhibit their goats a little bit differently than what we saw earlier. They're shown much more similarly to sheep. And so if you've watched our sheep show earlier this week, you'll see these meat goats shown in a very similar way. And so if you're just tuning in, I'm Elisha Rogers, the Ag and Natural Resource Educator here in DeKalb County for Purdue Extension. And so I get to spend this show with you, just kind of explaining what's going on, sharing a few goat facts here and there, and also some fun goat jokes. And so you can see as we walk these goats around, most of our meat goats that we have produced here in the U.S. are called Boer goats. Now the Boer breed originated in South Africa and was actually only brought into the U.S. in the early 1990s. So this particular breed of meat goat has only actually been here for about 30 years. Some of these goats out here that may be a little bit thinner framed, maybe a little bit different color than the white and the red that we're seeing, maybe cross a little bit with some Spanish goats, which are another breed of meat goat that are somewhat common here in the U.S. We also have Kikos, K-I-K-O, and those are common. And then we also have several other breeds, but one of the other fun breeds of the meat goat is the myotonic fainting goat. So if you've ever seen videos where the goat's running along and then it goes stock still and falls to the side, those are actually a meat breed goat. Those are myotonics. And so a lot of our meat breed goats that you'll see, not just here, but exhibited around as well at other county fairs or state fairs, a lot of them actually come from much warmer climates. such as South Africa, New Zealand. A lot of those places are where a lot of these meat breeds have been developed. Over in Australia, they developed quite a few of them and helped develop them just to handle those hotter temperatures better, but to still put on a good deal of muscling. So our judge will now give his reasons for this class.
To start our market weather show off, I'm going to start with the young lady here up front. Weather for me that's the most complete in the class today. He feels really nice to the touch. He's got plenty of loin edge about him. He's the fullest and deepest through his loin, carrying the muscle all the way down through his stifle. He's the widest base in the class. Easily made the class winner for me today. The young lady's going to come out in second. It's another weather you really appreciate. It's a little bit longer sided, but he tends to get a little more narrow into that chest floor when we compare him to that first place winner, but you appreciate the length of spine this animal has, putting him in my second place hole. The young lady that comes out in third is another one really appreciate that follows up that top two really, really well in terms of balance and style. One that's got plenty of loin edge about him. He just doesn't quite walk as wide from the rear when you study it compared to our top two animals. The young lady is going to follow up next. One I think that's probably the most correct on it when you balance this animal out. He's just a little too green. Needs a little more production to him to move him up higher. As we round out the class, these last three weathers, ones that are just, for me, need a little more weight on them today. Ones I like to lengthen out, explode them just a little bit more through their loin edge, give them a little more meat and muscle to move them up higher. Nice set of animals. Let's give them a round of applause.
Our lightweight market goat champion winner went to Charlotte Albaugh, reserve champion Ashlyn Common. Both awards were sponsored by Becky Cougar, Auburn Alterations. Class 2, light medium weight market meat goat, Kirsten Haynes, Isaiah Hefty, George Williams, Kirsten Haynes, and Calissa Albaugh.
All right, coming into the ring now, we have our light medium weight class, single class for this division. These goats weigh 63 to 68 pounds. So again, these goats, different than our dairy goats, much more muscled, much thicker bodies, just a much more compact animal than we saw in our dairy goats, but still produce a really good yield of meat when we go to look at them as a carcass. So as we get going with this, we'll give you guys another goat joke for this evening. So, where does an angry goat write down its problems? On the rampage. And so we talked about with the dairy goats that we have the American Dairy Goat Association here in the U.S. that kind of manages our dairy goat breeds. We also have the ABGA, the American Boar Goat Association. And so that manages a lot of our boar goats that are registered here in the U.S. So, difference between our meat and our dairy goats is our meat breed goats are raised specifically for meat purposes. The does and the sires, so the moms and the dads of these kids, are going to be a lot thicker bodied animals, a lot larger animals, usually can be a lot heavier as well versus our dairy goats. Our dairy goats can be raised for both meat and milk. And while the does, when they kid, can produce milk, it's not to the same volume or capacity that a dairy goat does. And so is our judge this evening, who is Robbie Kelly. He's from over by Leesburg. Raises and shows boar goats with his wife and child. So as he goes along and he gives his reason, he may talk about cover, he may talk about fleshing, things like that. So basically what he's discussing is basically the amount of meat and how much coverage that meat has over the bones, over the body. Just basically kind of how well that animal is going to look, basically hanging up as a carcass.
explosive and expressive over his top. He's got the widest chest floor in the class from end to end. He's the widest base and carry the most amount of muscle for me today. The young lady's going to come in second to another weather that you appreciate for the length of body this animal has and that style and appeal from the side profile. When she gets him stuck, he's set up really nice and has that elevated look to him. For me, he's just a little narrower over his top when we compare to that counterpart, but nonetheless, he's got plenty of loin edge and muscle throughout that lower 1/3 of the leg right there to be in that second place hole. The young lady that comes out in third with the nice weather dam type animal, one you really appreciate from a style and balance standpoint, one that I definitely think you can take home and make some future weathers with. She's got a lot of parts and pieces about her that you like her. She's just a little bit narrower over her chest and her rib cage when you compare to our top two animals today. To round out the class, two other animals that you appreciate for the length and size these animals have. You see a little more coverage over their top, a little more loin edge, and a little more bone structure about them. Two a little higher in this class. Let's give them all a round of applause as they exit.
Our champion light medium weight market meat goat went to Calissa Albo, reserve Kirsten Haynes. Our banners are sponsored by Shaw Machine and Firearms Service Incorporated and Jeff and Cindy Campbell. Our next class is medium weight market goats, class 3, Isaac Hetke, Addison Moffler, Addison Perry, and Leroy Ruckman.
All right, coming into the ring now, we have our first class of, lost my place. So we have our first class of 2 for our medium weight market goats. This particular class weighs 70 to 71 pounds. And we would like to thank our sponsors for our banners for our weight divisions. Our champion light medium weight meat goat banner was sponsored by Shoal Machine and Firearms Services Incorporated. And our reserve light medium weight meat goat banner was sponsored by Jeff and Cindy Campbell. Our banner sponsors for the champion medium weight meat goat division are going to be Jason and Carla Kreischer family. And the reserve medium weight meat goat banner is going to be Becky Hoover of Auburn Alterations. We'll have 8 goats total in this weight division. Like I said, this class is 70 to 71 pounds, and our next class will be 72 to 78 pounds. So like we talked about earlier in our dairy goat portion, the reason why we have these market goat classes is because goat is actually the most widely eaten meat across the globe. In France, it's called chevon, and in Spanish, the word for goat meat is cabrito. So So you would think maybe it would be pork or something like that, but goat is actually the most widely eaten meat. They're smaller, they're more compact, they're easy to raise, and so that makes it an easy protein for a lot of our families in a lot of different countries to raise and get some good protein for their families. Loose goat. And we've got him caught.
Some of the good weathers in this class. I'm going to start with the young ladies' weather. That's the hardest handling in the class for me today. When you put your hands onto him, he's the deepest in his wing edge. He's got the most amount of coverage over that top hip shape. Carries that all the way down through the lower one third of his side port, offering us the most amount of power when we put these different pieces together for him. The young lady's going to come out in seconds. Another weather you appreciate. It handles fairly nice for me. He's just a little bit shallower in his wing edge. You want to deepen him up just a little bit. Give him a little more width in that chest for him to put him on the first place. So, young man's going to come out in third today. Another weapon you appreciate, one that you like to handle, one that's just a little bit narrower throughout his hip, one you want to make his back end. I like the front 2/3 of him. I just want to make him a little wider from that perspective on his rear. The young man's going to round out the class with the black weather, one you appreciate and has a place in the industry, one that isn't quite as firm to the touch, has plenty of muscle about him. Want to give him some more leg muscle, make him a little bit wider across his top to move him up higher. Let's give him all a round of applause.
Class 3 placing. First place, Addison Mockler. Second place, Addison Carey. Third, Leroy Ruffman. Fourth, Isaac Hefty. Class 4 medium weight market, Eaton Brown, Ashton Chipman, Hayden Brown, and Addison Carey.
All right, so we have our second class in our medium weight market meat goat division. These goats again weigh 72 to 78 pounds. And so this will be the second class in our medium weight market goat division. We'll choose our champion following this class. And so you can see here as we're getting up into those a little bit larger weight animals, we're starting to get up into kind of that prime area for that weight range, that 70 to 85, 90 pounds on these meat goats. You can see they're starting to fill out their frames a little bit more. We're starting to see a bit more fleshing on these goats, a little bit more muscling, a little bit more thickness than we saw with our first couple of classes. And like I mentioned before in the dairy goat portion, we are seeing horns on some of these goats. Horns are acceptable on our meat goats because it's considered part of the breed. You will see some that may not have horns on them. They may have been disbudded or taken off with like an iron or paste, things like that when they were very young, so it doesn't cause pain. And that's just for safety reasons and things like that, because a lot of times the way these horns grow, trying to handle the goats with a collar or something like that up between their poll, up between their ears, sometimes your wrist can get caught in there, and it's not a good situation with the shape of those horns. So sometimes a lot of people will dehorn their goats just for safety handling reasons. And you can see just kind of looking at these goats that they're definitely a lot wider in their stance, wider in their bodies from their shoulders back through their hips and their pins than we saw on our dairy goats, and that's just because they are a different framed animal. They are a lot thicker, and so we will see that meat placement a little bit more differently, a little little bit more thicker throughout the shoulders and through the lower leg area and the brisket than we saw on our dairy goats.
I was like, wait, what happened to my Oh my goodness.
All right, we have our placings.
When we study this next class of 4 goats, there's each of them that have parts and pieces that I like, and there's parts and pieces of each of them I'd like to change. The one for me that's going to come to the top, though, I think is the one that's the freshest handling in the class today. He handles with ease when you put your hands onto him. He's got plenty of warm edge to him. He's firm to the touch, dog for that front 1/3. You appreciate the amount of leg muscle that he has. He's starting to get a little softer in his middle side there for me today, but one that I still think wins this class pretty handily. The young man that's going to come out in second, another whether you appreciate what you like. From the handle standpoint, when you put your hands onto him, he's wide across that top. But for me, at this this lower weight, starts to get a little too over finished for me today. I'd like to correct him in his middle, make him a little firmer to the touch there. The young lady's going to come out in third, one that's the longest sided weather in the class that I really appreciate that. One I just want to get a little more power over that loin, make him a little bit deeper in his side to move him up higher. The young man that rounds out the class, another one that's the greenest to the touch today, one that just needs overall mass to move him up higher. Let's give him a round of applause as they exit the arena.
First place, Keaton Brown. Second place, Ashton Chittenden. Third place, Addison Carey. Fourth place, Peyton Brown. Entering the arena again. First place, Class 3, Addison Moffler. First place, Class 4, Keaton Brown. Second place, Class 3, Addison Carey. Second place, Class 4, Ashton Chittenden.
So we just heard the judge talk about kind of the finish and the feel of the animals. That's what he's feeling when he has his hands on them. And he talked about one of the goats being a little green. So basically it's referred to the goat as still needing some muscling put on him. He's still very young, doesn't have quite the muscling that he needs to really move up into the class. So kind of consider it like if you ever cut into a young tree. You have a green sapling, so it's very young. There's a lot of bend to it. There's a lot of green tissue in that tree. So that's kind of the same idea behind our market goats, is when a judge says it's green, they just don't have quite the same feel, the same touch, the same finish as some of our other goats that maybe have a better cover on them. So that's what he means when he says they're green. But out in the ring right now, we have our medium weight market goat champion class taking place. So as they announced, first place from Class 3 is Addison Moffler, it's number 69. First place from Class 4 is Keaton Brown, number 202. Second place from Class 3 is Addison Carey, number 107. And then second place from Class 4, number 45, Ashton Chittenden. We have our placings.
Out here that came from their classes to evaluate for this champion drive here for division. I think there's just one out here in terms of length of body and size that has it over the advantage, the one I'll use for reserve. I'll go and shake the hand of your champion reserve for this division.
Champion medium weight market meat goat, Addison Moffler. Reserve, Keaton Brown. Awards are sponsored by Jason and Carla Crusher family and Becky Cougar Auburn Alterations. Our next class is the medium heavyweight market meat goat. We have one class. Emery Chavelle, Kirsten Hayes, Brenton Weller, Jenna Washler, Brennan McCartney, and Ashton Chittenden.
All right, so going into the ring now, we have our medium heavyweight market meat goat division. We have one class for this one. These guys weigh 80 to 89 pounds across these 7 goats. Sorry, 6 goats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 6 goats. Excuse me. So these guys are getting up into the heavier half of our market division. So following this, we'll have our heavyweight market goat classes. We have 2 of those for that division. And then we'll follow up with our county-born market meat goat division. After that, we will have our grand and reserve grand overall, followed by our showmanship classes. All right, our judge is picking our placings for our medium heavyweight market meat goat division. So the judge is taking his time a little bit to feel these top 2 goats in this class to kind of get a better idea, and he's made his decision.
A really good class of market animals from top to bottom. For me, the young lady is going to start out with a doe in this class. I think the one, when you talk in terms of balance and style, and coupling all that with body capacity and muscle, the overall amount of product this animal has, she has the most when you study her. When you watch her walk on the arena, you appreciate how wide she is and how much muscle she really truly does have to her. The young lady's going to come out in seconds. Another animal you appreciate. One for me, pretty firm to the touch over that top. She starts to get a little bit soggy middle for me today. I like to spread her from end to end just a little bit more, make her wider throughout her chest border, move her up higher, but still a really nice animal to compete. The young lady's going to come out next. Another one is just a little bit plainer and softer to the touch. One you appreciate, though, for the length of size and the muscle this animal has. It's nice and full through its loin edge, lengthening that hole where she's at. The young lady that comes out next is another whether you appreciate from the length and side of the profile of this animal. One for me that just isn't quite as wide. Bases are
again, from our heavy medium weight meat goat division, we thank our sponsors, Champion Banner, Becky Hoover, Auburn Alterations, and the Reserve Heavy Medium Weight Meat Goat Banner to Nestor Construction. In the ring now is the first of two for our heavy market meat goat class. There we go, get it in order. The goats in this particular class weigh 93 to 94 pounds. And so you can see as we look at the frame on these goats, we look at the overall muscling and just the overall body mass on these goats. They are much larger compared to the ones we started with in our lightweight meat goat category. And we'll see that when they come back out for the champion drive. You can just see the definite difference in terms of body frame, body size, and such as we move up into these heavier weight categories on these meat goats. So while he's picking this class, might as well do another goat joke for our South African breed here, our Boer goats. So, what do you call a South American goat killing monster with a cold? A chupacabra. So on these heavier weight categories that we're getting up into in these next two classes, it can be a little hard to kind of sometimes discern between muscling and then getting into some little bit excessive fat cover, just because of the way the animal moves and things like that. So it's definitely necessary for the judge to get his hands on these goats a little bit more as we get into these higher weight categories. So you can see right now he's comparing them side by side. So we can see that width, he's able to get his hands on both goats at the same time to feel, and so that sometimes gives him a much better idea of kind of who his top champion or top placing will be for these classes.
Three really nice weathers in this class. The young man that's going to win it Formula One, I think, just handles a little bit better over that top. When you say this animal's got plenty of width and dimension, but carries it all the way from the top to the bottom. One that's plenty wide throughout chest floor. One that's just a little bit firmer to the touch, a little advantage for me today. That's what gives me the advantage over the second place animal. The second place animal is one I really appreciate and like from the side profile. One that just catches your eye, has plenty of forearm about him. One for me, when you compare him to that top winner, he just is a little bit shallower in that loin edge compared to that first place animal. But one that's got plenty of width and dimension from behind to easily be a good second place winner in this class. The young lady that rounds out the class here today is another whether you really appreciate from the style and side profile here today. One that's got plenty of width and dimension. She wants to just break over that top line a little bit for me today. But one I still really appreciate. Just want to power her up just a little bit to move up higher in this tough class. Let's give them a round of applause.
Our placings for this, first and second place, are taken by Bowen Clifford. Third place, Emma Brown. Our second heavyweight class, start off with Rylan Moffler, Jenna Washler, and Bowen Clifford.
All right, this is our second heavyweight market meat goat class. The three goats in this class weigh 95, 97, and 101 pounds, respectively. So this is the end of our main categories. We will have county-born market meat goat next. And after that class, we will choose our grand and reserve grand market meat goat overall. And so while the judge is choosing this, let's do another goat joke. So let's go with, as two hungry goats were eating a DVD, one turned to the other and said, "I don't know about you, but I thought the book was better." Alright, so that goes back to the kind of that theory that the goats will eat anything, but really most of our show goats and many of our production goats have specific diets to help them get the muscling, produce the milk, things like that to help them become the best animals that they can. And so we can see we've got one of our market wethers or market goats here that's being a little beyond stubborn, but that can happen occasionally. But that's why we have great volunteers in the ring to help our youth make sure their goats keep moving forward.
Another set of market animals that's really nice from top to bottom. The young man that comes in here in the red shirt easily wins the class for me. This animal is the most powerful in the forearm and with the dimension throughout the chest. One that's got plenty of top edge when you study it and you put your hands onto him. He's the firmest handling one in the class. Will have offered us the most amount of product throughout that entire leg. Just one that balances out really nicely. The young lady's going to come in second. It's another one you appreciate from the side profile. One for me, I just want to make it just a little bit deeper in that chest floor, a little bit wider to move them up higher, but still a nice weather. The young lady that's going to round up the class is another one you appreciate from a style and balance profile on the side. One that just needs a little bit more width and dimension throughout that rib shape to move them up higher. Let's give them all a round of applause as they execute arena.
First place, Bowen Clifford. Second place, Jenna Washler. Third place, Rylan Moffler. Right, bring back in 1 and 2. Bowen Clifford. Bowen Clifford. Bowen Clifford. And Jenna Washler.
All right, so this is the drive for our heavyweight market meat goat class or division. So we have three goats being exhibited by Bowen Clifford, the young gentleman in the red shirt, And then the second place from our Class 7 being exhibited by Jenna Washler. Alright, so our judge is evaluating these heavyweight goats. Again, he's got to kind of maybe get through a little bit layer of fat as we look at some of these larger framed animals. They may be getting not quite as fresh as some of our younger weights. So he's got to evaluate the goat as a whole, where they are market-wise at this point in time. Here are decisions for
Couple
the
really nice
heavyweight.
market animals out here to evaluate for your heavier drive. When you study them, they're all very similar in their type and kind. I think there's just one that's just a little bit fresher and cleaner in its appearance today. They'll easily come to the top. I think it gets a little closer for your reserve. There's 4 out here that are really good. Let's put your hands together for them as I go out and select your champion in reserve.
Alright, our judge is now going to go out and shake hands with their champion in reserve.
Our heavyweight market champion went to Bowen Clifford, and our reserve champion, Bowen Clifford. Our awards are sponsored by Becky Hoover, Auburn Alterations, and Kendallville Animal Clinic. Our next class is the County Born Market class. We have Brenton Weller and Marie Chavelle. Addison Brown and Emma Brown.
Alright, we have our county born market meat goat class coming in. So these were animals that were born here in DeKalb County that are being exhibited. You can see we have one that's being a little difficult this evening. So again, we'd like to thank our sponsors for our banners. Our champion heavyweight meat goat banner was sponsored by Becky Hoover of Auburn Alterations. The reserve heavy meat goat banner sponsored by Kendallville Animal Clinic. Our champion county born meat goat banner is sponsored by Becky Hoover, Auburn Alterations, with the reserve county born meat goat sponsored by Jeff and Cindy Campbell. Thank you all for your sponsorship. So in this group class, the county born, these animals weigh 76 to 98 pounds. So the reason why the judge asked the animals to walk and not just stand still the whole class or dance around is so he can see kind of how fluid they move, how well they move, how flat their top lines are, how easy their shoulders stay in place things like that are the movements that he is looking for when he's having these goats walk through this class. Or I should say, trying to walk. So as he's evaluating these goats, we'll do another joke for you all. So, where do you find a goat with no legs? Right where you left it. Alright, he's made his selection. Let's hear his reasoning behind it.
Another nice set of market animals to evaluate. The one that comes to the class, top of the class for me today. One in terms of handles really, really well from all the way from that rib cage all the way back to that lower 1/3 of the leg, offering us the most amount of total product when you really get your hands and study this animal. The young lady that comes in second is another one you really appreciate. The look and style and balance this animal has plenty of features about him. You really appreciate that bold forearm about him. He carries that muscle up high and all the way down low. For me, I just want to stretch him from side to side just a little bit to make him a little longer sided. The young lady that's coming out here in the third pole is another one you appreciate, just a little bit pounds lighter, a little bit greener in the class today. But one I think has a little more leg muscle compared to our last place animal. The young man that rounds out the class, an animal for me that you appreciate how well this animal is growing, just a little bit on the greener side, needs a little more shape to that muscle up high. When you say him, still a nice animal. Let's give him all a round of applause.
Our champion county foreign market winner was Emma Brown. Second place, Emery Chowdell. Those awards were sponsored by Becky Hoover, Auburn Alterations, and Jeff and Cindy Campbell. All right, we'll bring out our animals for Grand Drive. Charlotte Alwall, Calissa Alwall, Addison Moffler, Emery Chowdell, Bowen Clifford, Emma Brown, our reserves, Ashlyn Comet, Kirsten Haynes, Keaton Brown, Kirsten Haynes, Bowen Clifford, and Emery Chowdell.
Alright, we have our lineup for our grand champion market meat goat in the ring. So congratulations to all of our exhibitors and our first, especially our first and second places in each of these weight divisions. So you can see as we look up the line of these goats, how we start with a smaller frame, maybe not quite as much muscling, and we move up to these heavier weight goats that are definitely a larger frame, have more muscling, have more overall coverage on them. So it'll be interesting to see what the judge, Robbie Kelly, is looking for this evening as he evaluates his top choices from each of these divisions. And as he does so, we'll do another goat joke, because I've got a list of them. So, next one. What farm animal is always in trouble? the scapegoat. Alright, so our judge is putting his hands on all these goats, getting an idea for the overall meat cover, how well they feel, how well muscled they are, how much fat covering they might have on them. Both looking at the chest area, the brisket area, which is what that's called, down along the loin, which is along the spine, following the back, and then also looking at the rear leg region, which would be like the ham region on a hog. It's just the rear leg on the goat. So he's looking at the muscling, the overall balance of these animals, how well they stand, how square they are, is what he's evaluating. Alright, looks like he's made his decision, and we'll choose our top 5 animals from this market meat goat group. Making one more walk around, just kind of verifying his decision before he gives us his reasons. So these goats are all getting a little antsy. It's a little bit past their dinner time, and so they're all ready to get back to their pens, have some dinner, and relax for the evening. So they're being a little problematic for these kids, but they're all doing a great job handling them.
Let's put your hands together for these kiddos and while I work their cameraman. Really nice lineup of market animals here to evaluate today. Talked about each of them, the drives and the classes. I think there's 3 out here in my mind that really put a lot of pieces together in order when I talk to them in their class and in their division. For me, 4th and 5th gets a little closer as we move on to the line. Not going to talk about each of them, but I think for me in the overall market, whether I'm looking for one that's fresh and handled, one that's got plenty of power about that top, one that's got plenty of dimension through that loin and carries that all the way through the lower 1/3 of that leg, one that's going to offer us the most amount of product but yet have that show appeal to it. And I think there's several out here that meet that bill. So I'll go out and shake the hand of your champion all the way down. Let's give him one more round of applause as we go out and select those top 5.
Alright, he has made his decision for our top 5 market meat goats.
Our grand champion was shown by Bowen Clifford. Reserve grand champion, Bowen Clifford. 3rd overall, Emery Shadow. 4th overall, Emma Brown. And 5th overall, Emery Shadow. Those awards
our showmanship, we'll start with our senior showmanship. Just a little bit. Only Florida stories.
Starting tonight, we'd like to thank our judge, Robbie Kelly. He's here from Leesburg, Indiana. He's a county extension director at Elkhart County. Addison Moffler, Isaiah Hefty, Ashlyn Comet, Carissa Alball, Charlotte Alball, Leroy Ruckman, and Rylan Moffler.
All right, we have our senior meat goat showmanship in the ring with these 7 exhibitors. So I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. From our grand champion meat goat banner, Mira Maldini and Cecil Freeburn and Jackson Blue Ribbon 4-H. Reserve grand champion meat goat, Cassie and Jason Brown family. And then the 3rd, 4th, and 5th overall meat goat banners were all sponsored by Justin and Rebecca Hoover. Coming into our showmanship, the senior meat goat showmanship banner is sponsored by Weller Electric, with our reserve senior meat goat showman banner sponsored by Kenny and Cindy Furnish. And so the winner of our senior division here tonight will actually have to show again at the end of the showmanship show in our premier showman class. This is a class for our kind of premier, our elite showman, and so it allows them to compete again tomorrow night as a part of our DeKalb County Premier Showman Contest. It brings together the elite of our showmen in each of our meat type categories, so meat and dairy goats, swine, sheep, beef cattle, dairy cows, and dairy beef animals. And so all those youth will come together and exhibit to become the top showman for DeKalb County. So tune in tomorrow night for that contest. It's a great contest showcasing each of these youth's skills and how they handle all these animals. So again, when we look at showmanship, this is not so much as to how well the animal looks, but as to how well you handle your animal. How will you show it? How will you showcase it? The judge will also ask questions of you, whether it's body parts or how much your goat weighs, or how much on average, maybe what does the ABGA stand for, American Boer Goat Association, or maybe when did the Boer goat get introduced to the U.S.? 1994. So there's a lot of different questions the judge may ask to test your knowledge and to test your skills in the meat goat category. Nope, loose goat. And so the judge is now asking the youth to go ahead and turn their goats so they're head to tail, so we can see them on a profile view instead of a rear view. And so when you do this maneuver in showmanship, the first person, which would have been number 70 here. And she did it pretty well. She brought her goat up several steps to give room for the rest of the goats to come into line. So while the judge is maneuvering around, let's go ahead and go with another goat joke. So, what do you call a goat who paints pictures? Vincent Van Gogh. And so as these youth move around their goats, you want them to be kind of quick and kind of agile, but not too fast. But you want to make sure that you're getting your goat set up, that you're getting in place as quickly as possible, so the judge can evaluate the goat instead of having to wait on you to get your goat into place. So the judge is taking his time this evening, testing not just the skill of the kids, but also their working knowledge of the meat goat industry. Well, looks like he's made his decision, and he will. Looks like he's gonna ask another question real quick, or he's helping kind of give a couple of pointers to the kids to help kind of improve their skills for coming years. give his placings and choose his top showman out of our senior division.
Let's give all of our showmen a round of applause. So I've talked to them all individually about things I like, things they can work on. I didn't tell them how they placed or anything. You've seen I've kind of kept them in the same order as they've come in. Just for those of you back in the bars who might be coming back to your premier showmanship class, and I'm not going to give these kids the answers. So the few questions I asked them, just going to ask them again here later. Just for keep finding the right spot to see them. So what I want the kids to know a little bit of industry knowledge. I really don't base my decision on that, but I think it helps in a tiebreaker situation. Just some general questions I like to ask seniors. How much weight should your market animal gain a day? Do we import or export more goat meat in the U.S.? And then because I'm a history nerd when it comes to the boar goat breed, when were they imported? So there's a little bit of homework for you if you're paying attention. So when you come back for Premier Showman, you'll get asked those same questions. I can tell you one of the three questions got answered correctly. So ask your friends. But nonetheless, I think there's four people out here that did really well. I'm going to go out and shake my hands at my top two today. Let's give one more round of applause as I select your champion in reserve.
Champion Senior Showman, Charlotte Allball. Reserve Champion, Calissa Allball. These awards were sponsored by Weller Electric and Kenny and Cindy Furnish. Our next showmanship class is intermediate. We have Isaac Hefty, Addison Carey, Bowen Clifford, Isabel Allball, and Keaton Brown.
All right, we have our intermediate meat goat showmanship in the ring. These individuals are from grades 6 through 8. And so again, the judge is looking for kind of some of those common knowledge industry questions, information about the goats themselves. So he'd asked what the average daily gain was on their animals. So it was a pretty easy question to figure out. Youth have the opportunity to kind of weigh their animals at the beginning when they start raising them, and then they'll get a final weight when they check in here to fair. So typically on our meat goats, we're going to be looking at anywhere from about, probably a little over a tenth of a pound a day weight gain up to almost a half a pound a day weight gain. And it all depends on diet, exercise, things like that. All of those play into how much that animal is going to gain every single day. And the most important nutrient that our animal is going to have is actually going to be water. Just like us.
For PB showmanship for meat goats, it will be with Mr. Fry back here.
So just like us as humans, water is our most essential nutrient, and that's very much the same with any of our animals and any of our livestock. So while our judge is putting our intermediate showmen through their paces, let's go with another goat joke for you this evening. So, patient to his doctor. Doctor, I keep thinking that I'm a goat. Doctor, how long have you felt like this? Patient, ever since I was a kid. So to answer a few of the questions that our judge had asked our senior showmen, like we had talked about. The Boer goats were brought over to the U.S. in 1994. We had the average daily gain. Um, and then in terms of if we have more meat goat imported or exported from the U.S., we have more meat goat imported into the U.S. We have such a rising population of immigrants and other religions, things like that, and goat meat is becoming, like we said, the most popular meat in the world. We actually have a couple of clients of ours that get meat wethers from us throughout the year for different celebrations, holidays, things like that, different ethnicities, and so it's always interesting to learn kind of what their background is and kind of why goat meat is so special to them. So as we work through our intermediate, we would like to thank our intermediate Meat Showman banner sponsors. Our champion intermediate Meat Goat Showman banner is sponsored by Kimmel Farms, Larry and Deb Kimmel. And our reserve intermediate Meat Goat Showman banner is sponsored by Mike and Pam Benbow. Thank you for your sponsorships. And then we also, again, like to thank our sponsor of the day for the DeKalb County Fair. And this year, today's sponsor is Nucor. So thank you so much for your sponsorship of the day. Alright, so he's pulling our showmen out of line. Kind of looks like, just to see how they maneuver and move around. So again, these youth are doing a pretty good job of leaving plenty of space between themselves and the goat next to them. That way the judge has space to move around and evaluate the goats all the way around the animal. Looks like our judge is kind of talking to the kids a little bit, giving them a couple of pointers before he goes and makes his selection for intermediate meat goat showman. So again, when we're looking at showmanship, we're looking at how well the kids present their animals, not so much about the animals themselves. So the judge is looking for, again, not that just that knowledge, that skill, but also the cleanliness of the animal. How clean they are, how well clipped they are, and things along those lines, how well they showcase their animal as he's walking around. So Judge is done talking to the kids, we'll see where his placings are.
All right, let's give all of our showmen a round of applause. I went ahead and placed this class from top to bottom. The young man in the red shirt usually comes to the top for me today. He's the one that had the animal stuck and presented the best the whole entire time of this class today. What really stuck out to me is I started putting them on the side profile. And granted, I know these are marketing of them, but at the same time, and I talked to one of the classes earlier today, you never want to obstruct the judge's view no matter what. And this young man did that here the best today. He always was out of the front of that animal and away from that side, so I could see that animal was the best on his transitions from side to side. He was always on the correct side, had the best eye contact. The young man that comes in second, another one I greatly appreciate for that eye contact. And the animal wasn't always the most cooperative for him. He kept his cool the most, and I just greatly appreciate that. He always had the animal set up and presented for me really well. The young lady in third does a really good job presenting that animal and getting that animal jacked up and set. For me, it's that transition from side to side and make sure not to obstruct those views. In our last two showmen, I've talked to them as well. They did an excellent job getting those animals presented. Sometimes not always the quickest to set up those feet and legs. And the animals started to not want to cooperate a little bit more. Let's give them a round of applause as they exit the arena.
Champion Intermediate Showman, Bowen Clifford. Reserve Champion, Keaton Brown. Those awards were sponsored by Kimmel Farms, Larry and Deb Kimmel, and Mike and Pam Benbow. Junior Showmanship, Keaton Brown, Emery Chowdell. April Williams, Rylan Allball.
Alright, so in our class at this point, we have our junior meat goat showmanship. So these are grades 3 through 5. So these are kind of our beginner showmen. And so they might not have quite the same set of skills as some of our older showmen have, but they're still out here exhibiting their animals and doing their absolute best. Alright, so we've got a couple of our goats kind of dancing around a little bit. They're getting a little antsy, a little prancy at this point in the evening, but that's alright. The kids are doing a great job keeping them under control. So, following our junior meat goat showmanship, we'll have our premier meat goat showmanship, and then we'll have our peewees for the meat goat division. Following that, that actually concludes our livestock shows for the DeKalb County Free Fall Fair for 2024. We do thank everybody who's been viewing these shows online. We hope you've been able to view family and friends. And tomorrow morning, starting about 10:30 a.m., we begin our introductions for our auction. So if you'd like to participate in that, we invite you down to the fairgrounds to participate in our auction tomorrow for our youth and their exhibits. And then tomorrow evening is our premier showman contest, where we bring together our top showmen from each category to compete to become the top of DeKalb County. This will then culminate in our area premier Showman of Showmen contest, which will take place on Saturday evening. This contest will put the DeKalb County premier showman against the premier showman from all of our surrounding counties. So we have our absolute top showman that will result Saturday evening. So we invite you down to view that incredible show as well. So as our judge is talking to our junior youth, I have 3 jokes left for you all. So, this joke is, what do you call a joke? What do you call a goat that enjoys cleaning? A Roomba.
No, just take one. It'll be a wooden.
And so I'd just like to take a moment to thank not only our judge for being here this evening, Robbie Kelly, but our goat superintendent, Travis Fry, and all of his committee members that have been here and have been a great help this evening getting the show running, making sure our youth are ready to get into the ring, helping them while they're in the ring. So thank you all for
It gets super hot
helping
in
us
here.
run such a great show this
And
evening.
then it gets super cold. Well, yesterday I was home floating. You guys were all hot. They were just after you.
All right, so it looks like our judge is kind of talking to the kids, giving them a few pointers before he goes ahead and announces his placings and his reasonings. Again, we'll give a big round of applause to our young youth here, our beginners that have exhibited this evening. And our junior meat goat showman banner has been sponsored by Kenny and Cindy Furnish, with our reserve junior meat goat showman banner being sponsored by Shaw Machine and Firearms Services Incorporated. So thank you all for your sponsorship.
Let's give our beginner showman a round of applause. 4 really good individuals out here. I'm going to start the class off with the young lady here in the green shirt. She just did a really good job getting that animal set up in brace and just standing there. She did a really good job moving around the arena. When I talked to him, I said, you always want to make that call for goat sandwich. Is the easiest way for little kids to understand this. Is the goat you always put in the middle. You should be on one side, the judge should be on the other. She did that the most correct. She was smoothing her transitions. I know her goat didn't want to quite cooperate enough. She didn't let it bother her. She's out here, she's showing, she's not letting it get to her. And I think that's really important in the arena. The young lady comes in second, did another really good job. Just want to make her work on her transitions just a little bit, making sure she's on the correct side of the animal, and did a good job with that. Same with the young man, did a really good job with the animal not wanting to quite cooperate. Want to be a little quicker about setting up those legs. Same thing with the young lady that rounds up the class, was really good getting her animal to walk around. Just needs to be a little bit quicker on setting up those feet, legs, and keeping a little bit better eye contact. Let's give those kiddos one more round of applause.
Champion Junior Showman, Rylan Allball. Reserve Champion, Emery Chaldell. Those awards were sponsored by Kenny and Cindy Furnish, Shaw Machine and Firearms Service. We will now enter with our premier showman, Charlotte Allball, Addison Brown,
Premier Meat Goat Showman Contest or Premier Meat Goat Showman class. So these are our top of our top for our meat goat category. These individuals have either won senior division in the class or the premier division in the past, and so we are seeing individuals who have a pretty good idea of what they need to do to show their animals and to test their knowledge and their skills. Alright, so the judge at this point, with it being our premier showman, is having our exhibitors go ahead and switch animals. This is oftentimes done in showman contest because it shouldn't make a difference as to what animal it is, as to how good of a showman you're going to be. So, if you're really going to test a showman, you'll switch the animal, because animals a lot of times become used to their human and how they handle them. And so by having somebody different on them, it's interesting to see how those animals react, how they show, and it really shows who knows their skill and can handle any animal. So again, each of these youth is keeping really good eye contact with our judge as they're walking around the ring. They're aware of where the judge is, and they're also very aware and conscious of what their animal's doing at the same time. So while our premier showmen are showing, let's do another goat joke for you this evening. Since it is September and we're less than 90 days away from the holiday season, let's go with, what did Scrooge see when he spent the festive season on the farm? The goats of Christmas past. Alright, our judge is having the youth switch back. And so as they switch back, the youth reset their goats, so they're set and ready to go and be presented at the best of their ability. So the judge has just told the youth, just go find a spot in the ring, just to where you can show off the animal the best. And so he's just letting them kind of free for all it, and so that way they can showcase their animal to the best of their ability. So when he turns around, they're well spotlighted, and he can see the best feature of the animal. But right now he's probably asking them one of those few questions that he asked during the senior showmanship contest, whether kind of meat goat is more imported or exported into the US, the average daily gain for their goats, when was the boar goat brought into the US. So these are just very common questions that are asked of a lot of our more advanced showmen that should understand the meat goat industry a little bit. And so for our Premier Showman Goat banner, we greatly appreciate the sponsorship from Jeff's Auto Repair. And then they also get a special award on top of it, and that is sponsored by USW 634L. We greatly appreciate your sponsorship of our premier showman, Meat Goat. Immediately following this, we will have our Pee-wees come in, and these are our future showmen that have not quite started 4-H yet.
I'm gonna have y'all lead off somewhat in a line. Lead off, go all the way around over here as you can, okay?
All right, so as our youth are walking around the ring, the first in line at the moment is Kirsten Haynes. Second in line is Addison Brown. Third in line is Charlotte Albaugh. And fourth in line is Emma Brown. Again, this is our premier showman class. So these individuals have all won senior showmanship in the past or have participated as premier showman in our contest that will take place tomorrow before. Looks like our judges, Robbie Kelly, is doing some kind of final decision making.
Let's give all four of these young ladies a round of applause. Really, really tough class of premier showmen. I went ahead and placed them as is. Young lady closest to me is going to be your champion today. Just did a phenomenal job getting that goat set, knew where I was at. I really appreciate everyone answering my questions that I gave you earlier today. So someone did their homework and was paying attention. So I greatly appreciate that. I think she just had the best eye contact to me. Worked really well with the other goats that she had too. And just stood just a smidge above the rest to green. And the reason I asked those three questions, when we're raising and marketing animals, you should know about how much on average your animals gain. There's always a range that's acceptable. They've all given me an acceptable in that range. Average, 0.3 pounds a day. I would take anywhere from 0.25 to a half a pound, just depending on the goat, where it's at in its progress and what it's gaining. The reason I asked also, what was the boar goat imported to the United States was 93. Think about 1993 was before most of these kids were born. But in the grand scheme of animal husbandry, that's not very long in the U.S. And to see what those goats first came in as to what they are today that's sitting in the arena is a heck of an improvement. And so I think it's really important to know a little bit of breed history there for me. And then I also want to know, because at the end of the day, these are market animals. So we import or export more goat meat. I'll tell you now, we import a heck of a lot more than we export. And so I think there's a growing market for this project and in production. And so I think that's really important to know. But nonetheless, this young lady won it all for me today. Just in terms of eye contact intensity, just did a really phenomenal job. The young lady that comes in second did another really good job with eye contact. Just want her to be a little smoother on those transitions from side to side. And the next two ladies around the class, I really appreciate their intensity, knowing where I'm at, paying attention.
So coming into our show ring now are our Pee Wee showmen. These are individuals who aren't quite in third grade yet, and so they are showing their friends, family, parents, things like that. And so these are our future 4-Hers, and so we're excited to get them in the ring, get them a little bit of practice. So we welcome all of them into the ring. Alright, so as the judge is working through all of our Pee Wee showmen, do our second to last joke for you all this evening. So a goat, a drum, and a snake fell off a cliff. Ba-dumps. So again, as we get close to the end of the show, we greatly appreciate our judge, Robbie Kelly, coming over from Leesburg, Indiana, sharing his expertise and knowledge with all of our youth this evening and working through our Meat Goat project. So in total, we had 36 youth, or 36 livestock projects that were exhibited this evening in the Meat Goat market classes. And we had, count here real quick, 20 youth that participated in our showmanship contest, not including our great exhibitors that we see here in Pee Wee. So thank you all for great exhibitions and great animals that were brought into our show ring today.
At least you get a break tomorrow, right? You're not coming? Yeah, I think so. You have to.
So as the judge finishing up working through our Pee Wee showmanship class, again, thank you to all of our volunteers that have helped make this show run. Thank you to all of our kids that are here from DeKalb Central running Barron TV. So it's been great to have them here helping to live stream so you all can watch this at home. And so our judge is working through everything.
Let's give all of our mini showmen a round of applause.
you all for being on
Once
this
again, we'd
evening.
like to thank Robbie Kelly, our judge. If you give him a round of applause for tonight. Thank you for coming.
All right, so as we finish this live stream this evening, I'll leave you with one more joke that seems appropriate. How do you stop a goat from charging? You unplug it. And with that, I thank you all for this evening, and we will unplug from our live stream. Thank you.